So I've been, of course, at work, and a guy came in. You know, everybody gossips here and talks. So they said, "Hey, man, you know that kid? He's been locked up since he's 14." I said, "14." So yeah, 14 years old. I don't think he got natural. I think he got like 25 to life, 35 to life. So anyway, I see him in the yard, man. I say, "Hey, can I talk to you for a second?" So I'm not on no goofy stuff, because you know, an older guy walking up to a young guy in the yard asking you to talk to him could be taken a certain type of way in prison. You see me with this old number. He looks like he's maybe 17. So he wasn't standoffish to me. I think he knew who I was already from the law library. He said, "Hey, what's up?" I said, "Man, hey, man, they tell me you've been locked up since you were 14. Is that true?" He said, "Yeah, man, I've been locked up since I was 14. I said, "Well, how many years you got in now?" He was like, "I'm 24 years old." He looks like he is 17. A little shorter than me, a little stocky. You can see that, like, he looks like a baby, man. Looks like a baby. So I asked him, I said, "Hey, yeah." I said, "Hey, man, like, what are you doing? Like, you got a hell of a story to tell. You should try to tell your story or write a book or something." He said he's in the process. He just has to find more time to sit still, I guess. I mean, I guess he's a kid. So, he's well. I can tell he's well read. His mind is much older than 24. So I just try to give him the ropes. Like, listen, man, just stay out the way, stay out the cops' way, do all you can for yourself to try to get out and stay away from the nonsense, because I don't want you to be like just waste your time up here. Like, I got 20 in. I don't want you to have 20 in. So if you can, just stay away from the goofy stuff and keep your head on straight. He seemed to understand. He said he wanted to talk to me again in the yard, but nobody really said that to me when I came through. Because people were like, still, "Oh, that's the dude, that's the boy right there." Not everybody, but you know what I mean? That's the guy that was on TV. That's the guy that's on TV. And a lot of people, like I think I told you before, a lot of people think I'm 6 foot tall, 220. So when they actually see me, they be like, "That ain't him." And they be like, "Yeah, that's him." But it's kind of died down now. We don't have TV1 no more.
Yeah?
I think it was gone. Yeah, we don't have that. So that's the last show that I used to appear on. So I think it's been gone. Whenever we got this new cable system, that's when it's been gone. So people don't know. If you didn't know, if you already know, you know, but nobody knew was going to come along and see that. But yeah, they took that away, and a couple other channels, but nobody watched them channels anyway. Like, they repeat the same thing over and over and over again.
Now here, everybody watches apps.
Yeah, you told me that the reels or whatever. So can you imagine being locked up at 14? Yeah, I can't. I can't imagine. I could have never imagined being in prison at 14 years old. And I think he told. Matter of fact, I don't think he told me. He told me he was the youngest person to ever get something to life in Erie County.
Oh, he's from Erie.
Yeah, he's from Erie.
That's where
Lil D. Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew where he was from. But yeah, he's from Erie. He told me yesterday.
Yes. How can you remember back to when you were 14 years old?
Yeah, I was on my way to high school, Bach Tech. That's what I was doing. 14. That high school's closed now. They're closed. Like I said, they're closing all the schools. Yeah, he was.
School's a joke.
I never asked. What was the what?
Schools are a joke anymore.
I just seen on the news about a shooting, a school shooting, another school shooting.
I told you I stopped watching the news.
Man, my celly had it on. I haven't been watching the news lately. I've been on my U.S. Open stuff. I love tennis. Matter of fact, Coco's on now. So hopefully she'll be done won by the time I get off the screen.
There's several people who, I don't know if they would be called podcasts or whatever. They go around with microphones and basically ask people questions. You've probably seen it on the news because I seen it when I was in there. That's what remember that Hawk 2 girl? That's how she came famous. And they're asking young people, teenagers, like questions like what countries are in America, and just like questions that everybody should know. And these people are getting it wrong, like way wrong. Like the one person said China's in North America. I mean, they're dead serious. They just have no clue.
They stay on their phones all day. Like that thing will turn your brain to mush.
I'm gonna get my nephew either tomorrow or next week. I'm gonna ask him some questions because he just went into high school. So I'm gonna test his knowledge because if he's not learning anything, then I'm not gonna tell him to keep going. I'm gonna have to homeschool him or something.
How old is he?
15.
So look, I did see on the news how they had this meeting at the White House, and it was like maybe probably Trump's whole cabinet, and they were talking about how they're going to do away with the crime in D.C., tough on laws, blah, blah, blah. But this is the question I've been wanting to pose to people. Why is it never any talk about before prison? Why does it have to be, you know what I mean? Why does it always have to be we're going to do this and change the laws and be tough on crime? Why not about the prevention of going to prison, period? I don't get that. Like, it would save everybody money. Everybody, it'll definitely save the taxpayers some money. Keep the community safe. Like, when I grew up, they had rec centers, the YMCAs, and things to do. Now there's nothing to do for the kids. What the hell are the kids going to do besides they play on their phone? They can't go outside. My daughter says, I say, you ever go out? She said, yeah, I don't go out much, but, because I'm from Philly, it's dangerous. So I go out during the day. She doesn't go out at night. I was like, what the hell? And I had a virtual visit, probably about, it was wintertime. So I don't remember if it was the start of the winter or the end of winter last year, but my buddy's taking me around the city, driving down one of my, where I used to be at a lot, 52nd Street. I said, bro, it's not that cold out. Where the hell is everybody at? He said, bro, this is it. He said, he said, nobody comes out. They just shoot stuff up. I said, so they just shoot stuff up? He said, yeah, and they all do it on camera. So they all film themselves shooting stuff and walk around pulling guns out taller than them. I said, what the hell is going on out there? Hey, I wanna say something. I forgot. Listen, I didn't know that they put an age limit on the e-cigarettes.
21.
So I didn't know you had to be. Yeah, so listen, it's fine for this kid to get the rest of his life in prison, possibly, but he can't smoke a cigarette. That shows like that. Okay, that's why he can't smoke a cigarette. 'Cause that's like let me see. That's for a responsible person, I guess, right?
Yeah. Well, you know what?
So how can you deem him? How can you deem him responsible at that age, but you can say he's irresponsible to smoke? You know what I mean? Or can't? What the hell?
You're saying he's so adult, you can charge him as an adult. You can take him out of his juvenile life, charge him as an adult, but he can't buy cigarettes as an adult.
Okay, so listen, I think it was a unit manager, but I see him walk up to the kid, not this kid, somebody else, say, give me that cigarette. So I'm like, what the hell is he tripping about a cigarette for? Because they sell them, right? So the kid had the cigarette. He had to be about, let me see, he's 20. I think he's 23 right now. He been here maybe 3 years, so he's about 20. So I said, what the hell, what you do to piss him off? Why the hell would he take your cigarette? That's not contraband. He said, yeah, I'm not 21. I said, what? He said, I'm not 21. I said, what the fuck's that mean? So we can't buy cigarettes. I said, you can't buy cigarettes. You're a grown man in a state prison. And they say you can't. He said, no. I said, get the hell out of here.
When did they start? I never seen it enforced in there. When did they start enforcing it?
Listen, I don't know how long it's been around, because like I said, if I hadn't seen a unit manager do that, I would have never known that.
I think they started it while I was in there, but not in there. I just knew out here it started in like 2 years ago.
Yeah,
but I never seen them enforce it in there.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't know about it, and this unit manager, you know what I'm talking about, he knows policy. Like, he knows that policy like the back of his hand. He's a major now.
You're talking about somebody different. Because I'm thinking about the one that starts with a G. He doesn't know policy. He's a moron.
Well, he's leaving. He's retiring in December. Yeah, yeah.
Should have been arrested.
He's retiring, but this guy is a bald-headed white dude. He's a major now.
I know exactly what you're talking about. His
Yeah,
name is
but yeah.
actually, his family's like all throughout the DOC in Harrisburg.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's been here with me since. Well, I've been here with him since.
For me too. He was.
Should I got here? He started. He was my counselor. My first. I think he was my first counselor. Back in the jungle, back on J Block.
He
Speaking
was
of the
my
jungle,
first unit manager.
yes. Speaking of the jungle, I'm in the yard waiting for the bathroom, and I gotta tell you, I'm old, man. These water pills I take, I have to use the bathroom every 2 seconds. I don't even walk the track that much because I just stay near the bathroom. I may do 2 laps and then, but anyway, I'm old, man. I take blood pressure. I'm about to be 46. I had a little bit of a little accident out there. Wasn't much, but it was enough to, you know what I mean? So I'm talking to the sarge. It's not funny. I'm talking to the sarge, and I knock on the door, and I'm like, somebody in there. So I'm like, oh man. So he hears me. So he hurries up because, man, I had to hold my stuff, and then I get in there and I'm trying not to urinate on myself. So I tried to get him out in time and got a little bit on me. But yeah, so I tell my daughter, of course, she laughs at me. She calls me old man, all types of stuff. But, yeah, what was I saying before that?
I don't even know.
I can't remember what I was saying. That was twice this year that happened.
Oh man, listen, if it happens more than once, then you need to seek
But
help.
see, when I get the urge, I should just go instead of still. Like the one time I was playing chess, and the guard said 10 minutes. So I'm like, all right, I got a couple minutes. I get over there. She has it locked, and she don't want to open it. That was the first time, and then the second time, I felt the urge. I was still talking. I go over, and somebody happens to be in there. So I'll just, since then I've been just sitting close to the bathroom. I'll do 1 lap, maybe 2, and I'll just sit, where the bleachers at when you come on the basketball court. I just sit over there, or just stand there. But then that threw me off. I can't even remember what the hell I was talking about.
I don't need.
If I had something to say, I forgot all about it. That's not funny. So I had to come in. My celly was in there. So you gotta get out. He's like, why? Somebody just get out. I gotta use the bathroom. I didn't tell him what happened. He'd have just grind me to dust. He'd have talked. Oh, listen, this is what I'm talking about. So I'm over there by the bathroom, and the yard sergeant is there telling the rookie about Jeff. Remember we mentioned Jeff? And the rookie's face was like, he couldn't believe it. He's like, yeah, he knocked him out and was going down his pants. Like, he was like, in the cell? He's like, no, in the middle of the damn day room. Yeah. He just couldn't believe it. He was telling him how it used to be. And that made me, the guy that I was talking to, start talking about how it used to be. Well, we've talked about it before, how violent this place was. But when you're in the midst of it, and you're minding your business, if it don't apply to you, you just kind of like, you don't be bothered. Nobody bothers you if you know. But at the time, it was a lot of gang activity. I got here, and I think on a Tuesday in November of 07. I was in the hole. I got out the hole the next week. They had us locked down because they had to fly a guy out of here. I said, where the hell they got me at? But I'd always heard about this place. It was the most violent jail in the state and blah, blah, blah. But you don't see it once you're in it. But then once you start remembering all the stuff that happened, you'll be like, I guess it was kind of violent. Yeah. I don't think you were here when they used to combine them yards together.
I mean, comparable to any other prison, yeah, in PA, that was...
No, I'm saying, were you in Housdale when they used to put the morning yards together?
What do you mean?
They would take, listen, the whole jail would be in one yard. So you had A, B, C, D, E, F, G, K wasn't built yet. All in one yard in the morning. Because a lot of people didn't come out, so they said instead of wasting these 2 yards, they put everybody in 1 yard, and that's when all the mayhem would happen. Because you got guys from the south side wanting to get to a guy on the north side, they would say, you know what, we'll just wait some more in the yard. If he comes out, we'll get him.
Yeah.
But yeah, me and my buddy was talking about, and I didn't realize how long he had been here. He was here since 2000, I think, 12 or 10 or something, 10 I think. And we was recalling all the stuff that happened. All the big fights. I seen where the guy just walking down the walkway, a stabbing that happened. This big thing breaks out. They snatch the guy's cane. The guy falls all over. The guy beats the other guy with the cane. Then the COs get hold of the cane and throw it on the roof. So now you got the handicapped guy just laying on the ground. He can't walk. He can't. The CO, cause to get away from the kid, from the prisoner, beating the hell out the guy, he got it from him, snatched it, and threw it on the roof.
What,
It was.
what block?
Yeah, Housetail was. This was. Well, all the guys happened to be. Most of the guys happened to be from J Block, the block I was on. So we ended up getting. It's crazy. We didn't even get locked down for that. They did. It was two incidents in the yard that night. Stabbings and the guy with the cane and fighting in the middle of the grass between E and D. No, we didn't get locked down. Probably 9 guys went to the hole that
being
night.
locked down that much when I first got there either, and I watched a lot of crazy fights. I watched dude get thrown off the top tier right in front of me, like he was flying.
Yeah,
We didn't get locked down.
I don't know when that started, but I done seen a guy get splashed with 190 degree water, and he just curled up, and then they started punching him. He was under the table, and they were just kicking the heck out of him in his head for maybe a couple minutes till the guards would run up and say, "Hey, stop." But back then, he said stop, but the guards back then would break it up. Now they don't break it up. You better be able to hold your own. He spray the hell out of you, but if you can eat that CO2, whatever that says, what is it? What is that? It's not CO2. Yeah, it's not said CO2. It's something 2 can.
The pepper spray?
Yeah, if you can eat one of those, the guy in trouble that you're. I've seen the guy get sprayed with that and just wipe it off his face like it was nothing.
I just watched their CO training for that, and they
C2, Air 2.
It's just a little. They get a little squirt from a far distance. That's their training.
Oh, so when they tell us, we got to take the same stuff you take, they don't actually get sprayed.
No, it doesn't even touch them, and it's only for like a second because they'll spray it and they'll have to like walk through the ambiance, and then they're going right to getting their face flushed with water.
What the hell is that stuff called? They call it something. They don't call it pepper spray. They call it something with a 2. But yeah,
like O2 spray.
That stuff is that stuff like they used it in the hole. This guy was acting like a nut, and they sprayed that stuff. Bro, I was like throwing up.
Yeah.
I had one guy I work with. They had just sprayed a guy in the cell. He walks right in there 2 minutes later and just starts cleaning like it's nothing. I said, what kind of lungs you got? Because that stuff don't bother me. And this wasn't the pepper spray. This was the big can. They call it bear spray.
Yeah.
Some people
can
take it.
They got all the riot gear on, and they use that to hook it up to like the vent, or they put it through the door.
Oh,
and then you spray it. That's the can you're talking about?
Yeah. Well, now they got what they carry around.
Yeah, but when they spray it, they unload it into a cell, and then the whole block is.
Yeah, the whole block suffers.
For like a day or 2. I remember that.
That stuff is bad. That stuff is bad.
Yeah.
I heard a rumor that they're trying to take it, or they saying they shouldn't have it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they shouldn't. Why do they? Why do they have that much? Because a lot of that they got a guy.
If a guy has asthma, he can die from that.
Oh, yeah, don't get me started. Yeah,
listen, you read any new case law? Any new cases?
No, I haven't, man.
I tried to read the case. I think I copied it upstairs. The Marbury case, Marbury versus Madison. It's from like 1803. I printed that out to read. I'm gonna probably read the next couple days, but it was saying that we always get back to the Hague, right, and the timeliness and the time bar. It says in there that Congress is not to. I forget the exact wording. I'll hit it for you next time. But basically, whatever Congress puts forth, if it goes against the Constitution, it shouldn't be law. Yeah. They used the word repugnant. It used the word repugnant. I remember saying, but it was like in the head notes. And back then it was so old. They had the what was the name of it? The reporter, I should say. You know how they have 238 US and whatever. This one said 1 crank CRANCH, and then so I said, what the hell is that? Dude was like, man, it's so old. It's from 1803, and it was about the commission of I forget the guy's name, but they didn't pass his commission on, and the dude didn't turn it in, and he ended up not getting that position. I think it was a justice of peace or something. He tried to sue the Secretary of State. I can't remember his name at the time for that spot, and they was like, "Yeah, get out of here." Madison versus Marbury. So who, the Secretary of State was, I guess James Madison.
Wow.
Yeah. But it said in there right in the first couple lines, and I pointed it out to some guys, and that started everybody going in the law library.
Mm.
And your old Sully, well, these people, they not going to blah, blah, and then he just went on. You know what I'm talking about. Your old Sully.
Yeah.
Not the bald head one.
Big topic right now out here is gun rights. Because there's a lot of people who can't get guns because they have a conviction. So they have all these petitions and TikTok petitions going around with some pretty compelling stories, and they're even arguing, it says that it's our constitutional right. You're saying we can't defend ourselves because we committed a crime? That's not fair.
Yeah, but if they wanted to get tricky, right? So they say we have a right to bear arms. Does that necessarily mean guns? What arm? Because crossbows are considered weapons. So what if they say, you know what? Even though they won't, because there's so much money in it, they say, you know what? We taking all guns. You still have a right to bear some type of arm, and say, you know what? They can take to go out and get a crossbow or a bow or something. But you say that they have a couple new cases that talk about that. New York, something about Bruin versus pistol range or something. But it's 2 new cases, not new now, maybe from 2023, but they talk about that. How can you can get your voting rights back, but you can't get your right to, you can't defend yourself, like you're saying.
Yeah.
How can you not be able to defend yourself because you have a conviction?
And with the way the streets are now,
everybody needs
and I mean the cops. I mean, I'm scared of the police. I want to be able to defend myself from them. They got weapons.
They have weapons. They will shoot you. And like I don't know what their whole training is. Why does their training have to be kill, and so excessive?
It goes to their head. I had a gun before, and when you have a gun, you feel different. You feel stronger. You feel invincible. I recognize that in myself. I had to check myself. So I can imagine with some of these guards and cops, go right to their head.
I tried to get one. I tried to get a shotgun for the house, and I wasn't even convicted yet. They told me no. I had a check fraud pending, and they ran my name and said you can't have it. I said, why not? It's a shotgun. It's not a concealed weapon. He's like, oh no, you got a conviction pending. I said, so what? It's pending, and dude wouldn't give it to me.
Wow.
Dude wouldn't give it to me.
Then you're not innocent until you're proven guilty.
Right. Because I was out on I got RR bail. I mean, it's check fraud. It's something petty, you know what I mean? And I tried to get me
that ain't right.
a Mossberg shotgun. Yeah, I tried to get me a Mossberg shotgun.
Constitutional right is a constitutional right. There's no abridgment or there's no misconstruing. In fact, there's even laws that say if there's any ambiguity, they befalls the plaintiff, which would be fraud. So if you can't understand this, then it goes in my favor anyway.
Yeah.
It's messed up, man. I'm so sick of this.
Yeah. So I did see how they're trying to. The day I see them say they want to have drones to stop school shootings or help prevent them or help control them, that's when a couple of kids got killed. But I seen these drones. Now they might start them out in schools or wherever, but pay attention. They're going to be just flying around all over the city. They're just going to be flying around. So if you happen to be somewhere in your yard, you're doing something you're not supposed to do, and that is not private, because it's like, I forget what the law says about the privacy. Like if it's open to everybody else, then it can't be that private, so you shouldn't be doing it. So if let's just say you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing in your backyard, and this drone flies over, and you want to argue, hey, I was on my property. That's my private property. You can't be looking down there. Well, yeah, because it's not. We have an expectation of privacy, but that's not expected to be private if something can fly from over above and see you.
Yeah.
So I was trying to tell a guy, so we got a right to privacy. I said, no, we don't. I said, we have an expectation of privacy. It doesn't say we have a right to privacy in either one of the constitutions, but it's implied. You know what I mean? Yeah. So he tried to argue me. I showed him the Constitution. Huh?
That's scary.
Hell yeah, it's scary. Read 1984, everybody. You have to read it.
That's
George Orwell. Read 1984.
Orwell Wells or whatever.
George Orwell. I read it twice.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought it talks about
That's an easy
what's happening
read
today.
too. That's it's animated.
It is an easy read, and I'm probably gonna read it again.
Yeah, that was.
I keep telling my celly to read it. He won't. Said you need to read this book, or you're about to go out to society. You need to read that book.
I thought I was gonna come home to a world of justice and right. Just being there and a part of that system, it just isn't right. Out here, it's actually, I'm gonna say it's worse, man. These cops are awful. There's videos, there's TikToks too about people suffering from PTSD because of prison, jail, and these guards. They haven't said it yet, but I know exactly what it is. Imagine thinking of the police as a authoritative figure, your person to protect and serve, and they're the ones that are abusing you.
Do you think people really?
That's PTSD. That's trauma.
I don't think people think like that anymore. They can't. They have eyes. They have ears. How can they still think that that's the case? That was the intentions. But come on, we're in 2025. If people think the cops aren't exactly who they show you are, then you're crazy for not believing them. They're showing you who they are. If they show you who you are, what the Maya Angelou say, you have to believe them. So they are who they are. I think another Philly cop is back on trial or something. One of the guys, he was added to the do not call list, meaning don't call him to testify for nothing.
Yeah.
Dude, they got a list tall as me about cops they can't even call because there's so much craziness down in that homicide unit in Philadelphia in the DA's office. Now they were giving out. You was able to go get your H file. Now you got to stay there with it, and they got to redact everything. And I think the lawyer has to make copies there or something. I don't know exactly how, but it changed. Their policy changed recently.
Philadelphia, they just switched their a PCRA judge.
The Claudio, I don't think I think he got in trouble.
Yeah, he did. Now it's some girl, some lady, and I mean they're saying, this is from who work in there, that she's trying to clean up some of these corrupt cases to make herself, seem like she's it for justice. So,
you said this is a judge?
Yeah, Judge I think is her name.
That's the new president judge, or just a judge down there?
I don't know. She took over for the Claudia. So if you file a PCRA right now, she's the one who gets it.
You froze.